I know, but the recorder just record done. Awesome. So hello. We should do this.
Hello.
Actually, we should have it set up to just record when we jump on, because.
Well, I guess now we could do like a really professional start, couldn't we? Like today we're here to talk about eczema stress.
Eczema stress. I know. Yeah, we could try that professional approach. It's never really worked for me.
One day.
One day. Super professional. But yeah, eczema stress, I think, was kind of what we the chats today. So anybody, as we're posting this on the Facebook group, if you're here live, pop your questions in the chat as ever, and if you are watching this as a replay, you've got some questions, then post your questions below, because we're going to be creating more videos and more content.
I did have one thought, actually. We could go live on Instagram simultaneously. I saw someone in America do this, and they actually called it simultaneously. So it's separate. It would be a separate thing. Could do it at the same time.
Interesting.
Let's start one.
You can do. I don't know how that would work, but yes.
You just mute it. Just don't have it playing much part. So really, this is what we're doing. But there might be questions.
Yeah, cool.
I don't know if I can do it now.
I know, technology.
Right, so where should we start?
So what I know we wanted to talk about stress, and obviously at the moment, very stressful time for lots of people for different reasons. But I suppose, is there anything for you that sort of came up? Because I know when we were chatting, you were sort of saying, stress is like a big part of what's going on. Is there anything specific that's like happening for you right now?
I think it's my face touching mainly.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to get into live going at the moment. So I wonder if I can just invite you to it. So as soon as you join it, I can invite you to that. But yeah, face touching.
Yeah.
I'm getting told off by people because everyone knows we shouldn't be touching our faces. So people are getting annoyed with me.
Yeah.
And I do it all the time. And I also worry if I'm really making myself more vulnerable to catching things by doing it all the time. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, I think from my perspective, when I'm looking at just looking at in general how the immune system works, we're bombarded day in, day out, by bacteria, viruses, fungi. We're breathing them in all the time. And for me, that's one of the things that has remained. I touch my face all the time. It's like, I don't get ill all the time. I used to, but I don't anymore. It's about the immune system. It's not about touching the face. If we think about babies, typically how they develop their immune system, they put things in their mouth.
Everything goes in the mouth, doesn't it? Yeah.
They learn by doing that. And so I think we have to me, there's just a big misconception with, just like the immune system. And I mean, there's a whole other bigger thing, with regards to people trusting that the human body has been designed in a very amazing way.
Yeah. But with this COVID-19, we are being told not to touch our faces because that's how it spreads. And I know there's the immune system thing, but the nurses in the hospitals haven't got enough protective gear. I mean, people like that who are obviously at the front line, do they need to protect themselves?
Well, it's to me, it's just about being sensible, isn't it? There's so many different things at play. I think with this, and for what's going on with you, and anybody else with topical steroid withdrawal or any skin condition, or even autism, for example. You can't necessarily, anybody with tics, right? That you can't necessarily control these things. Some people can't control it.
No.
I know for me, if I get stressed, I'm like, just
So even when my eczema goes, I'm still going to probably be doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's comforting because it's itchy, and that's one of the ways I've stopped scratching. And I don't do an awful lot of damage to my skin because I touch it. I either tap or just hold myself. But I touch.
Yeah.
If I don't touch, I'll go mental. I'll go berserk.
Yeah. I mean, I look at it and I'm like, well, I don't. Maybe if you like literally sucked your fingers and went round and place them on, then touching things. This is why obviously the washing of the hands can come into play.
Yeah.
But again, it comes down to general personal hygiene, which is how we stop things being spread anyway. That's been known for years. Washing of hands and cleanliness and things like that. That's actually how a lot of these diseases started to be eradicated, rather than, let's inject things. There's multiple ways of doing this kind of stuff. So for me, if I've touched my face, I'm like, well, there are thousands of bacteria on my body at any one point in time. The skin needs bacteria, so there's bacteria everywhere, right? So if I've touched my face, I'm not within 2 meters of anybody. I'm not going to be giving them a hug. I'm not going to be, I'm not going to be spreading anything. Okay, if I go to the supermarket, lick my fingers, and then go around touching everything, that's a problem, right?
But if I'm going in there and trying not to, obviously, touch my mouth, which I don't very often. I don't put my fingers in my mouth very often.
No. And I think it's like with everything, isn't it? There's a lot of people that are very afraid right now. That's what we're being presented with. It's not necessarily, it's like logic goes out of the window. When people are afraid and scared, there is no logical
and cleaning every item of food that you get into your house. I have to admit, I'm not being that diligent.
I don't wash things.
People have been doing shopping for me, but just to stop this virus coming into my house, what I do is, some things obviously need to go in the fridge, but I just leave it sitting there for hours and then put it away. And obviously the fridge stuff or freezer stuff I can go straight in, but if I get a parcel, I'll just leave it there for a couple of hours, and then if that person had touched it, but all the delivery men put gloves on, probably latex gloves, so that latex is probably still on the box. So when I pick the box up, I'm more allergic to latex, probably going to be giving more of a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
These gloves everyone's wearing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and as they keep saying, it's like in hospitals they put a pair of gloves on per task.
I know.
It's not just wandering around wearing gloves. It's not stopping the spread of anything.
So wasteful, isn't it? Though, as well.
It is, and I think that there's so many misconceptions that are going on right now. And it's actually the stress that like we would feel, because I know that I was in the queue to go into the supermarket, and I was like, oh man, touch my face. All right, touch my face again. Because it's just that's what I've been left with, I suppose, because I've always just been able to scratch or whatever, and that's just been normal. As I say, I then worked on building my immune system in the right way rather than suppressing it. And lo and behold, my resilience to these kind of things. No problem.
Well, I think, and I don't know whether this has got anything to do with it, but since cutting out topical steroids and starting to then boost my body rather than doing the sort of sticking plaster things like topical steroids, my asthma is getting better and better and better. I'm reluctant to completely throw away the preventative inhalers because my asthma nurse is like, you still should be taking it, but I'm not really taking it anymore. Hardly got asthma now, and I'm doing other things in the background to help me with that. But I've got air purifiers, and I keep the dust levels low, and I'm testing this other product, which is, I don't know what the science behind it is, but it's like a probiotic thing. I don't know, but my asthma is amazing. That got anything to do with me boosting my immune system and cutting out topical steroids?
Anything. So definitely.
Yeah. But how can that be linked? How can having topical steroids give me asthma?
Because our body is all about maintaining the barriers in the right way. So your asthma is a breakdown of your lung barrier. Eczema is a breakdown of your skin barrier. Skin is a detoxification organ. Lung is a detoxification organ. If you're using steroids, regardless of whether you are inhaling them, regardless of whether you're putting them on your skin, your body will be using them where it sees fit, right? So to me, that it's almost like it's kind of, it's one and the same thing. Basically, you start to address the skin, the lungs start to go, oh, it's like a breather sigh of relief, because you're supporting your body in the way that it wants to be supported. It's not being suppressed anymore. And with I suppose when you're taking away those, or just reducing the amount of steroids that you're using, and you're supporting your skin, those same things are going to be supporting your lungs as well. You know, herbs don't just work on one. It's not like, oh, here's some herbs for my skin, just go fix my skin. It doesn't work that way. Working on your whole body.
It's interesting.
When we're working on detox organs, your lungs are a detox organ. It's going to be supporting that as well, for sure. So you're not the only person that's mentioned that.
But that's like awful.
In what way?
If everything that I'm being given medically by the people that are supposed to know how to make me better are giving me new conditions on top of the ones I start with.
And herein lies the big...
And then more and more drugs needed to maintain the life with the thing that it gave me in the first place.
Yeah. But that's what happens though, isn't it? You know, the medicine that we give. So I have a headache, you know, or I have, I don't know, so a typical one is, well, maybe the headache, it's like the ibuprofen or something like that. That has been shown to create stomach problems. So then you need another pill for that. It's the medicine took a very different turn away from,
it did, didn't it?
Yeah, earlier, you know, early in about 100 years ago or so, we took a very different turn away from like natural herbal, that kind of stuff, and we went very much medical, which has been very beneficial.
Things like penicillin. I mean, we could not live without that, could we? And antibiotics are incredibly useful in some cases.
They are.
I've had cystitis, and I'm pretty good at getting rid of that on my own. I use whoever gets cystitis, I know how to get rid of that. In most cases, I have this amazing supplement that I use, which is called Manios B Waterfall.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it works, but it's completely natural. And I've had it checked out by a chemist who's like, no, there's nothing harmful in that. It's all natural.
No.
I don't know if you've heard of it, but it just seems to help. It just goes. And I've tried everything before.
Yeah, it's
other things that work and are really unpleasant, like drinking bicarbonate of soda. That also works, but it's very unpleasant.
Yes. Yeah. That one sounds... Yeah, it's not nice, is it? It's not nice. I can totally relate to that, Ruth, because I think I've spent about 2 years in that place constantly.
Yeah, I just could not get rid of cystitis when I was younger.
No. Teenage years, was it? Late teenage? Yeah. I have a feeling that when we, you know, like when we've gone through and it's like the health history is like bang,
antibiotics, thrush, then stuff for cystitis, and it was just like a constant
cycle. Yeah, that's a body that is already at that point screaming for help, basically.
Yeah. And I basically just broke it.
Yeah, me too. But we wouldn't be here talking about this, would we, if...
No, but I've only once had to go and get antibiotics for cystitis.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. It was just obviously something a bit more...
Yeah, so the D-mannose is one of... So it sounds like you have a like a product name
Yeah.
that you were using, but D-mannose is a sugar basically that has been shown to help clear urinary tract infection. Yes.
Either a powder, and it's also not horrible. It doesn't taste horrible. Like, it's really quite sweet. That makes sense now you told me it's a sugar.
Yeah.
You just have it in warm water and drink it.
Yes.
The gallons of bicarb water that I drank to try and get rid of steroids. Cystitis before. Oh.
No, that's not good. Just tastes horrible.
It's really vile.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's those kind of things is very much part of the suppression. Sorry?
Gone off on a tangent.
We always go off a tangent. But yeah, it's very much part of the suppression.
Yeah.
You know, basically, and I think it's, as I say, you know, it's like the acute medicine is certainly there for a reason, and we do need it, but the problem comes when we're trying to treat chronic health problems with these pills to try and fix the problem, because then they're not fixing it, they're kind of we'll just band-aid that, we'll just put a band-aid on that, and one problem leads to another. And I know with my grandma, you know, it's like 1 pill, 2 pill, 3 pill, 4 pill, 5 pill, and it's at the end of the day that they're rattling with all the pills that they're taking, and it's like, well, what are you taking? What's this one for? Well, that's for the side effects of that.
They don't even know either.
No,
wow.
Like, that isn't healing. That is not healing. Healing is taking people off dependency, taking people away from this medication. And so that is always been my goal. It's like, I don't want to depend on any product or anything. That is true healing from my perspective.
And you know what, that's really made me think about this recently, all this whole COVID-19 thing, and we're locked in our houses, and the stuff is just not available in the shops. People can't get in asthma inhalers.
No.
For one thing. Luckily I'm not really that stressed out. I was at the first, because they were running out, and I was like, I needed to renew my prescription. I've had this asthma check which I had to do over the phone because I couldn't go and see them, and they were like, you need to get an inhaler quick because we're running out. And I was thinking, what happens if we're in a pandemic and you can't get your topical steroids, you can't get your asthma drugs? And that is one of the things that's really motivated me to make this work. I don't want to be, well, I'm not now. I'm not taking anything.
No.
I don't even think I've taken paracetamol for a long time.
Yeah. No.
I did the other day recently. I had, and I think it did help. I don't really like ibuprofen, but I had eczema. It felt like I was getting eczema herpeticum all over my face, and it was so painful. I couldn't sleep. I was nearly weeping. This was only a few weeks ago, maybe a few months ago. COVID-19 is blended into, like, I think it was before this lockdown, I think.
Yeah.
It was so painful.
Yeah.
But I don't even take them anymore now.
No, and it's honestly, that's one of the things that motivated me, because I felt I was becoming more dependent, and I was like, man, if we were descended into chaos, I would not function as a human being, and I would be in an absolute mess. And that was, you know, what, as well as like horrendous test results, I was like, I need to do something about this now, because as I'm totally reliant on a system that is very shaky, to say the least, and it made me exceptionally uncomfortable. And I'm so glad that I did what I did, because, you know, I see the fear that people have and the reliance, you know, and think for you as well, like from an anaphylactic perspective, you know, people rely on that kind of medication, but it's like, why are so many people in that situation to start with, you know?
Yeah, and the anaphylaxis is one that I'm not sure if you can reverse that. We've talked about this before. You think it's possible, don't you? But the reactions are so severe and so frightening, and mine have been getting worse. But since cutting out topical steroids, I don't think I've had a reaction there.
I think because I've seen things be reversed. So from my perspective,
Anaphylactic reactions.
Yeah, I believe in the power of the human body, and I believe very much in the fact that if we give it what it needs, then it can resolve all sorts of problems.
But some people that aren't atopic have allergies. I meet people that don't have eczema, asthma, hay fever, or anything, and they have life-threatening allergies. And that always strikes me as a bit weird, because I've always thought it was something I got because I was so kind of compromised in every other area.
I think there's multiple reasons, really.
Yeah.
It's a really complex issue, and you know, and I know for me, when I used to carry an EpiPen, the reactions I had were throat swelling, tongue swelling, you know, lips swelling. So I never actually used my EpiPen, so it wasn't like I never went into full shock. But those kind of things that if you didn't have it to start with and it's developed over your life, and to me that can be reversed, because that's a body in trauma basically that needs to be supported to come back out of it.
Yeah, and I've always had the nut allergy.
Yeah, so I think there's different cases from an anaphylaxis perspective, but I've always been one, I'm like, well, who's to say things aren't possible? I believe that everything is possible. This is just a fundamental belief that I have, and it's I suppose a nice thing to go through life with, but I just maybe we don't know how to do it yet, who knows. But you know, I was told when I was like 5 or 6 that there's no cure for what I have, and I'm with it, you know, hello. So I'm like, well, just because somebody doesn't know at that point, it doesn't mean that you can't get improvements or change things. You know, to me, everything is figure outable.
Have you been back to your doctors and said, this is me, this is what I've done?
No, I don't even know. It would be my doctor from when I was a child.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to. They'd probably not practicing anymore.
Yeah, I don't even know whether they'd be practicing now, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, I'm not registered with the doctor.
You're not? No. You're just blowing my mind.
No.
What?
I'm good.
You are pretty good. That's a bit weird. Not registered with a doctor?
Yeah. No.
Wow.
It's I've not been to a doctor for a long time.
No.
And I'm the healthiest I've ever been.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what the last thing was. Shingles.
Yeah.
I diagnosed that myself. They were like, yeah, probably not, but come in and see someone who's like, yeah, that's shingles. Like, yeah, I know. I told you. They didn't really help either, actually. No. It gave me some stuff that I don't think it made any difference.
Yeah. I think it's really hard, because when when I started looking into the kind of framework that doctors have to work within, they get a bad rap from quite a lot of people, especially in the eczema community, because it's like, oh, you're giving me is this, and this touches on one of the subjects that we're going to talk about further down the line, but it's, they're bound by what's recommended, and so it's very difficult for them to go outside of those recommendations, basically. So once I realized this, I was like, well, I can just look that up myself. This is all online, all this stuff that the doctors recommend, it's all online.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to go off and I'm going to go and see what's in the natural world, because that's where that's thousands and thousands of years of observation coming from Chinese medicine, coming from Ayurvedic medicine, all kinds of natural medicine. They've got so much evidence base, but
because no one's done a scientific study, which costs billions, thousands of millions of pounds. They won't.
No. But how can you can't, it's very difficult to do a scientific study, because what I give you as somebody with eczema is different to what I give the next person. So I can't do a scientific study based on symptoms and matching a remedy to a symptom. So it just that that function doesn't work. Yeah, as with paracetamol, it's like, you've got a headache, right, we'll bring everybody in there, they've all got a headache, we'll give them all paracetamol. Well, that just literally targets pain, so it's going to get rid of the headache, isn't it? Therefore, we've proven that that works. As I said to some of my clients, I'm like, how would I do that naturopathically, right? I'd have to create headaches in my clients. Well, that's not really ethical in the first place. So maybe I would get some of them drunk. Maybe I would dehydrate.
I'll do that one.
Them. Yeah.
I'll go with the drunk lot.
I'll dehydrate some of them. You know, maybe get some of them to bang their head against a wall until it hurts, you know. And it's just that it's very difficult, because there's no one remedy for a headache in natural medicine, because we're looking at, is it stress causing it? Is it dehydration causing it? What's the actual underlying cause? And then we have to go there. So I can't have one remedy that's going to work for headaches. So therefore it doesn't match the
Work for eczema.
No, it certainly doesn't work for eczema.
We've talked about this before, haven't we? There's a million things, I think. If I'm trying to write them all down as well, I'm trying to document it, but there's no one thing. And it's just like not the same for everyone either. I talk to people who say, no, that doesn't work for me. I swear it's one of the things I've never... No, I do worry about being without moisturiser, so that's making me anxious.
Yeah. And
but
do you keep quite a lot of creams at home now? Yeah, just sort of, we naturally stockpile. I think anybody with a health condition is a natural stockpiler, because I always was, really. It was just
probably, I can't, I mean, Epiderm I've got, but not loads of that. I've got another tub of that, and I think I've been getting two big tubs on my prescription just to save me money. I've got a prepayment thing.
Yeah, I used to.
Hopefully I won't need to have that anymore one day. But anyway,
Exactly.
I've also got loads of Diplobase, which wasn't any good the last year, but I think I can probably use that again. I've got Balmium, I've got all sorts of nice stuff, because I do judging for the Free From Skincare Awards. I've got loads of little tubs of things. This has just been sent to me, which is amazing, from Lion's Leaf, and it's a natural one. But what if I couldn't get any of these things?
Yeah, that's the thought. Honest to God, Ruth, that's
what do you moisturise? And you're going to give me the answer I don't want. What do you moisturise your skin with?
Nothing.
Don't use anything. I know this. How is that? I can't even see a world where that's possible.
Neither could I. But you know,
you must get dry skin sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Then what do you use?
I drink some water and I have some herbs, and I hope for the best.
Do you think I should stop using the moisturiser and go moisture withdrawal?
No,
I actually think it helps. Like this morning I was itchy, and sometimes it's dry, and I put some moisturiser and I can avoid itching that bit now.
Yeah, from what I've seen, when we're moving away from steroids, you'll know this, and anybody that's dealing with eczema will know this. There are times where you put the cream on and you're like, man, I wish I hadn't have done that. Scratch it all off. Yeah. And then there are times where it soothes. It's about learning that cycle for yourself, basically. For me, and I don't know whether this works the same for you, but if my skin got very red and angry, like something had, say I'd been doing the gardening, for example, and I'd had my gloves on, my hands had got sweaty, and then that sweat kind of led me to sort of scratch, but then I hadn't washed my hands, and so like I'd scratch that dirt in there, then it would like swell up and get really red and angry and ooze. That was not the point to put moisturiser.
No, definitely not. That's time to like maybe a bit of aloe vera I might put on there, but I'll just cover it probably.
Yeah, and so
cover it.
Yeah, it was like that was just
leave it alone. Yeah.
But if it was dry and painful, like very dry and painful, then I would know that okay, I need to put moisturiser on. Likewise, if the skin got really thick, moisturiser would never be a good thing. That
doesn't go through, does it?
No.
It's just like floating on the top.
Yeah, and it's just felt like just added another kind of thicker layer.
At that plastic level, it almost feels like your skin is plastic or kind of elephanty.
Yeah, for sure. And so
seems to help.
To me, it's about learning that cycle. but honestly, it's not something that I've kind of got enough evidence, I suppose, to see a pattern as to who benefits from moisture withdrawal and doesn't. From what I'm seeing so far with clients, because I have some parents, especially with working with children, some of them who have been able to come away from moisturizer completely, and they've said, oh my goodness, it was a game changer doing that. And others who are like, no, not possible, you know, my child is asking for moisturizer.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, keep going with it then, you know, because it's about being as comfortable as possible on this journey. I didn't force moisture withdrawal on myself. I hydrated from the inside out, so I focused on diet, and I focused on getting them my water intake through my fruits and veggies and things like that. And I naturally just woke up one day and I was like, I don't think I need to put any moisturizer.
There are bits I don't.
Yeah. So, and that's how it started for me. So certain bits, and then all of a sudden it was like, wee, full body.
Yeah.
Hey, amazing. I link
like
it with
here. I don't think under here is needs any.
No. So this part, like not right on the top here, but like under
this bit's a bit worse, but
yes.
yeah.
So this is often okay. So this we can get away with not putting cream on.
This bit's in there.
This bit. Oh god, that bit, yeah. It does get better. It does get better. If you'd have actually seen me in the first year that I did the allergy show in London, I had a full-blown healing crisis at that point, which was, you know, ideal because
I'm the eczema expert.
Yeah, I know. But here, literally big chunks were peeling off, basically. And actually, ironically, you know, as I say to people, most people are okay by that, because, you know, when they looked at me, like, you don't have eczema, and I'll be like, no, look at this is proof.
That's what's happening on my wrists at the moment. So
is it big chunks peeling off?
Yeah, I had a problem with it. I've just taken them all off this morning. They were. We'd done this first thing in the morning. I thought it was my Fitbit, and I think my Fitbit was making it worse, but it's just all this bit where I would want to watch is just like massive flakes, sometimes oozing, and it's got on the mend massively. I've been bandaging it for about a month, and it's almost better now.
Yeah. So this area on the body, when I'm working with clients, I'm always looking at how that relates to what's going on with their lymphatic system, basically.
Okay.
So it's just, it's an interesting kind of correlation when I'm looking at
what should I be doing for my...
I believe you're probably already doing
well, I'm doing the herbs.
Yeah, doing some herbs. So
tea. I'm not doing that every day, the tea, but
no, that's absolutely fine. But the any kind of like any sort of movement, you know, if you're getting out for walks and things like that,
every day,
or you know, remember.
And you know what, I used to have massive glands in my groin. They're not there anymore, and under here, here I can't feel them anymore.
Good.
Just used to be sore all the time.
Yeah. So the glands, when the glands are swollen, that shows that your lymphatic system is struggling, basically. Your lymph system, the waste system of the body, and we want to get that metabolic waste out of the body. So the metabolic waste is the waste that every single cell in our body produces every single second of every single day. And just like we eat and poop, the cells, every single one is doing the same thing. So that lymph system needs to be free flowing, but it doesn't have a pump like the circulatory system. So when the glands start to swell up, and the groin, under the arms and in the neck is a very common place for all of my clients, really. When they're especially with the kids, the groin is one of the big areas that really sort of like swells up. And on the neck, that's very common. It's just a sign that that lymph system is struggling. So doing things like your skin brushing, massages, walking, you know, just
forgetting about skin brushing.
Yeah, your skin brushing is really good for that. Just like a little bit.
One did it about twice, and then
And then yeah, so just
Massages.
yeah, anybody with a trampoline at home, that's one of the best
Really?
exercises for the lymph system. Rebound.
Massages aren't easy at the moment when you live on your own.
Yeah, jump up and down, do some skipping.
I'm going out for a walk after this, so I'll do some star jumps on my walk.
Star jumps.
I actually will.
Skipping.
Yeah.
Walking.
If I can see there's no one there. I get caught singing. I go around the corner, I'm singing, and there's someone coming away.
Oh, well, you might just brighten their day up.
I probably do, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Be like, oh, that's a happy person, rather than fearful.
Yeah.
Spread on the joy, spread on the happiness, because there's a lot of people in fear that need this help.
Yeah, I know. Going back to the anxiety and stress and eczema thing, I actually find that so much of my anxieties have gone because I'm in the house, and there's obviously other anxieties about what's going on outside the house, but I haven't stopped me being less itchy because my face has been destroying me, but my anxiety is so much better. And I know that when I'm anxious I scratch.
Yeah. So but then you've just said that you haven't reduced the amount that you're scratching.
No, I think there's something going on my face at the moment with the flakes that are coming off, and I know that my anxiety isn't causing the flakes. That's typical steroid withdrawal.
Yeah,
it's just frustrating, but I know that when I have been anxious and uptight and tense, there is a direct link there between me scratching. Like if I'm getting angry, or if I'm going to have an argument with someone, or if I'm scared about something or nervous about something, I'll be itchy.
Yeah.
Or not every time, but nearly all the time.
Yeah. And to me, that's because I get the same thing. It's like any kind of fear-based emotion, anxiety, stress, this is triggering that nervous system response of fight or flight, which kind of like puts us on edge. It gets the the adrenaline pumping and things like that. And so from a perspective, I think of stress, I mean, for you, when we come out of this period, what do you see happening?
Because at the moment I don't have to eat out, which is one of my big stressy things because of my allergies. I'm not doing any shopping.
Yeah.
So I'm either doing it online if I can get a spot, or people are doing it for me. I actually think my asthma's so good. I've been doing my peak flow and it wasn't that great in February, March, but it's just got better and better and better. Whether that's because I'm inside, not going out so much. I'm going out for exercise once a day.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What's going to happen to me when I have to actually do stuff? Actually go out.
I'm
going to go wild.
Yeah, you should be like, oh.
I know. Back on dating sites.
Yeah, you'll get so excited you'll pass out.
I will.
There's
my friends.
I know there's a few things that I've spoken to people about, and I think with like stress, certainly, like stress and anxiety, it almost delivers the same kind of feeling in the body as excitement.
Yeah.
And so I've always tried to reframe it.
No.
Yeah. But for me, I've just tried to reframe it, because especially with like trying to do this work, do videos, put yourself out there with this kind of stuff, it can be a bit difficult. So trying to reframe what's going on in the head has been really, really helpful. But flower remedies, always going to come back to those. I'm always going to come back to those. So if anybody's watching this, go check out the video that we did last week, where I was talking about anxiety and some of the Bach flower remedies for that, because whatever situation you're going to be dealing with, Ruth, right, there's going to be a Bach flower remedy that can help.
No, I haven't investigated that yet. I found my notes are here from the last call that we did, so I need to order some. Yeah,
going out to a restaurant, fear of known things, right?
Yes, I can't remember what they are. I need to learn them.
So
yeah,
But that's why I created that course with the, you know, like the Bible basically for all the Bach flower remedies. So, you know, you guys have got access to all of those basically. But it's just, they really are absolutely amazing for, you know, for anybody that's dealing with
So I
stress.
wake up in the night, and when I'm in a nighttime itch, it is like my whole body is rigid from doing it and scratching. It's like I'm in a trance.
Yeah, yeah. Do you find that you scratch? Are you waking up and you're already scratching?
Yeah, kind of. I think I'm waking up from having night sweats and I'm hot and I'm scratching.
Yeah. And
sometimes in my sleep. Sometimes I'm awake and I just start scratching, but quite often I wake myself up and it's almost sometimes part of the dream.
Yeah.
I'm doing repetitive things that involve removing scabs and scratching, and it's something part of my dream. I can't really explain it.
yeah, no, you don't actually. I think probably most people who will be watching this were like, yeah, I totally get that. It probably doesn't need explaining, because I
remember when you wake up and you're like, how long have I been doing it for?
yeah, I know. And it's so weird, isn't it? It's just there is like a crossover. And I know I've had dreams where I'll be doing something really bizarre, like there'd be sandpaper on a wall or something, and I'd be kind of like scratching myself on this, but I'd wake up and I'd have my hand behind my back scratching my back. And that's it. Yeah, it's like, what's going on?
How has it become part of the dream?
Yeah, it's just weird, so weird.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's lots of people who
know.
But no, you know, that kind of, you know, calming ourselves down before bed, stopping being on social media, stop looking at screens before bed. You know, we need to just sort of like really try and
yoga before bed helps me. Just a little bit, 10-15 minutes of get on the mat, just relax. The most helpful yoga I found for the anxiety has been restorative yoga, which I only discovered really recently. There's all sorts of yoga which is great, and most of it's for strength and ability, and I've never really understood the real candle gazing stuff, but restorative yoga, just that you can just get on a mat and just support yourself to be relaxing in different postures, and different postures will be working on different organs in your body.
It is amazing. Is it called, is it yin yoga? Is that another name for it?
Yin yoga is very slow and holding movements for a long time. I wouldn't say that was particularly relaxing.
No,
I did one of those on Sunday morning and it was excruciating. But restorative yoga,
different,
which is kind of a new buzzword thing, there's lots of props involved, like blankets, eye pillows.
Oh yeah, I could get on board with this.
You get yourself there's one where you get yourself wrapped up like a burrito and just go to sleep. But you're not supposed to go to sleep, you're supposed to just try and get into a relaxed state. But it's so relaxing, because and I've only been doing it since I've been going through topical steroid withdrawal. I would go in scratching, and I explained to my teacher, like, I'm going to really struggle with this. And I did used to kind of struggle with the itching. He said, right, we're going to do this burrito one, Ruth, so you're going to have to put your hands inside so that you can't scratch. And honestly, it does stop me itching.
Good.
As soon as I'm getting to that point where I can slow my breath and relax and I'm less itchy.
Yeah.
As soon as I get back out of the class, into my car, it's back. But for that hour or hour and a half, 2 hours of that class, so it's got to help. The more you do it, the more you can get to that place of understanding what it feels like to have a body that's not constantly tense.
Yeah, I think the tension is a big thing, actually, because I know for me now, so my skin is recovered, and this is when I always sort of say to people, right, this is a journey. I am still on my journey, because while my skin doesn't need moisture, doesn't need moisturizer, it looks absolutely fine, right, there's still stuff internally that I know that I still need to support. You know, we've all got those inherent weaknesses, so we can all dig in however far we want to go on our journey. That's our own business, right? That's we make that decision. But when I do yoga, or I try and do stretching, so we'll do like stretching, me and my hubby in the evening, and I've never been a flexible person. So, you know, and this to me has, when I started to learn about this and piece it all together, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense, right? That waste that's still in the body, that lymphatic waste, that's kind of like link it in with acidity. If there's a lot of that in there, it's and we're not very hydrated. And hello, how many of us have lived with dry skin for decades, right? That is like locked in there. That acidity and that waste is actually locked in ourselves, and we have to really put that effort in to hydrate to get it out. What I feel is that that's where that lack of flexibility comes from, because actually it's that lymphatic system that's there's blockages there that needs to come out. So the more massages, the more elimination we can do, and this stuff is like deep in there. It's been in there for decades, certainly for us. Right? We've been suppressing for a long time.
Yoga teachers will always say breathe and relax into the posture, and if you can't do that, if you are literally rigid, you can't.
No, and there's one, is it cobbler's pose, you know, where it's like you're on your back and then you let your knees fall out.
Yeah,
that is not a relaxing posture for me. That is painful.
I'm getting better at that.
Yeah, and you know, they're on the video, like, just breathe into it, relax.
So what you need, Rebecca, is some because it is good for you. That posture is really good for certain parts of the body.
Yeah.
To get the bolsters under the sides of your legs, and you to a point where you can relax into that posture, and it really helps. Because it's painful, you never relax because you're always like, no way.
Yeah.
It's just you put some support there, and it would really help.
Yeah.
Have you got bolsters?
No, we don't. No, I'll have to.
Another thing to buy on Amazon now.
Well, no, I was thinking I could just whip something up. I could do some sewing.
Them, yeah. Did you say make it?
Yeah.
Can you sew?
Yeah.
Oh wow, you've got more skills.
I made in fact I have one, to be fair, because I made like a door sort of thing to put, you know, like one of those roll, I don't know what you call it, like
I know what you mean,
cylindrical
sausage thing.
I have one of those. I made that out of curtain offcuts, I think.
Okay, we just need to make a bigger one of those to support your both legs at the side.
The other side, that could actually work. I'll play with that. Works, but yeah. That's what I do with all my leftover clothes that can't go to the charity shop. I just, you know, they go fit in things.
Do you have a sewing machine?
Yeah.
Oh, I need to learn, I think.
Yeah, I did it at school. I love it.
I don't know if I really love it though. Maybe I'll stick to writing.
Yeah, you have to find something you love. If you don't love it, you know.
I wrote some poems at the weekend that were quite so yeah.
Nice. You publish them. To put them on
I'm not going to publish them yet because I want to put them in a anthology. Do a little poetry book. I haven't got enough of them yet. I've got about 40. Don't know how many you need, but I feel like I need more than that.
Oh, you do? Is it about eczema?
Nice. So I've got a huge community of people who might like it. All of my topical steroid friends and all my eczema friends, and
it's what I do find actually is whenever I talk to, you know, adults specifically, like I've met so many adults who've gone through the trials with eczema, you know, maybe come out the other side, you know, whatever, but it's just, it brings out a creativity in people.
The pain.
Yeah, exactly. It's so interesting, because I think it's that if, regardless of where you are on your journey, there is always something to add that you can support other people who maybe aren't in the same place, you know. So for me, I was always looking for, like, somebody must have come away from moisturizer, seriously, you know. And I think it's just having that ability to, I suppose, be the inspiration for other people, and know that as I speak to the parents and stuff that I work with, they're just like, oh my goodness, you know, no, I can't, you know, I don't have the experience, or you know, we haven't finished on our journey, when I'm saying that, you know, could you share your story with other people, and they're like, no, but we're not finished. I'm like, it doesn't matter, because
It doesn't matter, no. It's still someone will be behind you, and someone who's been in the same place as you will appreciate that you're sharing it as well.
Yeah.
Being the only, not being the only one, hearing someone telling the same story as you is just quite empowering sometimes.
It totally is. And I think it's,
you tell your rest of your story when you've got there, because you will get there.
yes.
I will get there.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, you know, as I said to you before I hit the record button, you know, your skin is looking,
I think it's less red.
Yeah,
a bit red, but I think maybe something's making you look a bit whiter. That's more like normal.
Yeah,
over there.
but it, you know,
it's better though.
It's from my perspective, I don't see you every day, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? When it's like you see yourself every day, and we're so overly critical.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, and especially with the skin condition, we're like really in there with the mirror, looking. Oh no, this is not good.
And what's the most frustrating about the fact that I have now a year and 2 months in and healing is that it is no less painful, and I'm probably itching, I feel like, more. Yesterday I nearly wrapped my face up in like a mummy in bandages. I think that might have helped if I had. I'm going to do that. I bought some bandages, put my hair up and just wrap it, just so I can stop touching it, because the pressure helps. Like, I put these on and I'm not itchy now, so I can just go on my, that bit is horrible, but while I've got these on I can avoid the itch a lot of the time. I can't do that on my face.
The pressure does actually help.
Really helps.
Pressure on the skin really helps, definitely.
So my skin is so much better. It's just not less painful, but I will get there. I know it's going in the right direction.
Yeah, it does. It just
flaking didn't used to hurt this much. It's hurting now.
Because I know you mentioned obviously the pain at the start with like the sort of electric shock. Is that back now?
No, that's gone.
That's gone. So the pain, we've again evolved, right? So the pain is kind of pain now.
God, that was intense.
Yeah. So what's the pain now?
It's itching, I guess, the pain of itching, and it's all across here. And it just hurts here. Like, I managed to mow the lawn, but my eyebrow area was just excruciating. I needed to touch it, I needed to rub it, and it was just constantly on fire.
Okay.
And here and under here.
Yeah.
And it didn't stop until about 6 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah. So is it like the sort of burning?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So almost like it's
like something is burning out of me. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. Was it oozing or not?
Pardon?
Was it oozing?
Not really. No.
See, that's always I find it fascinating, just the symptom patterns. And I know that when, you know, it's like, well,
maybe I mean, I was sweating, but it didn't feel like ooze, because ooze is a bit different, isn't it?
Yes.
But it could have just been a bit less thick ooze. I was sweating.
Yeah, but if you're sweating, remember that, you know, anything on the inside, if we're acidic on the inside, then those kind of things, I'm always interested. I have like litmus paper here to kind of like test.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
Because the geek in me wants to start doing that now.
Yeah. But I wonder whether that was it acidic coming out?
No, it's been doing it today, and what time is it? I think I might have got away with it.
Yeah, 4 now.
For about 4 days in a row, I've just been like, and I can't get work done. I can't do anything. I wake up and I've got so much things I want to do, and I've been exhausted, like some nights sleeping for 10, 11 hours. And then when I wake up, just like, rah. And then I see someone and they're like, oh, your skin's amazing. And I'm like, oh, I hate my skin. But I know it's healing. You can't deny it.
Yeah.
I'm using less moisturizer. The only thing I'm not doing is itching there.
Yeah, but that's always, as I say to everybody, it's always the last thing.
The face.
Even now, like I'll get little tingles, because I think actually I'm sensitized to it. So my nervous system, it's almost like I am much more sensitive from a nervous system perspective. So if like the wind goes across my arm, it's like just that movement of the hairs, it's like, ooh, you know, then that sort of triggers you wanting to itch, because that's been my default for so many years. And so it's almost like we itch much more easily anyway than somebody that's never had to.
I read something about itching. It is quite a natural, like when the wind goes on you, and I've read something about cavemen where it's actually a good thing, because it could be, so the itch mechanism happens, so you get something off your skin. It could be a bug that's about to scratch you, it could be a poisonous plant that's touching you, and you need to get it off your skin. It's a natural urge, but it's obviously just on slightly more mental scale.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean,
you shouldn't be doing it all day long, like.
That's a whole other thing.
I was trying to make a cake, and I did actually manage to make a cake on Saturday, but it just took me so long, because I would be like, right, I'm going to measure the flour. I'm like, no, I can't measure the flour. I'd measure the flour. I'm like, get the flour from my hand. It's just horrible.
I know what you mean.
Like a torture.
It's so tricky.
I'm just ploughing through it, because I used to sit and wait for it to go, but it's not going. So I'm like, right, I'm just going to go and do things while it's happening. I'm not going to sit there being like that. And I can put a cold thing on my face and it sort of helps, but the minute I stop, it's back. So I almost feel like I've got to go through it.
Yeah, often with things like that, I always am going to come back down to the body is doing something. There's a process going on, something happening. And for me, my thought pattern went that way because I knew what it was like to be in that trance of itching, and I'm like, that's my body trying to get something out, and it's like making me scratch and itch.
You're almost probably helping it out by doing that.
Breaking the skin.
Nice,
totally. Breaking the skin. You know, if you think about historically, they used to use leeches to try and like draw blood and things like that. You know, so there's interesting kind of interesting kind of similarities. I'm like, the body's never wrong. It's kind of sending its messages. We respond, we do something, but that's your subconscious mind going, you need to scratch there. Why there? And then once I've scratched there, guess what? It's going to have moved. It's gone somewhere else now.
Yeah, it does that, doesn't it?
It's like, what's going on? You know, why isn't everybody dealing with this? But I always come back to body is doing what it knows how to do, what to do. It thinks it's like, right, I'm doing this for a reason, but how do we then support it? So it sounds like, especially when you put the cold pack on, that feels better.
It's better. I haven't got enough cold packs.
Yes,
because I then have to recold it.
Yeah.
And whilst it's recolding, I'm like,
yeah.
But today's been a good day. I've got all my edits done on my book.
Well done.
How exciting. And the next book must be about eczema, I think.
Yeah.
There's no way around that.
No. No way around that at all. Definitely not.
About eczema.
Definitely not. Also, well, as ever, look, we can just sit and chit chat.
We haven't talked about we sort of talked about what we were going to talk about.
It's a sort of, coming around and about to these things. But as I say, if anybody watch this, if you've got any questions, then please post it below when we post it.
We're going to get a list of what Rebecca's got a list. I've got a list as well of things we're going to talk about in the future. So we want to have your guys' input into these kind of things. We're going to invite you all next time.
Yes. So stay tuned. And thank you, Ruth.
Yeah, thank you. And next time we try and do Insta Live at the same time. Like if we go on live before and then just have that going.
Yes, I can try and do that. I have to set my phone up and try and figure out how to.
Oh, did you find dry fasting can make eczema worse? Dry fasting, is that not drinking? Dry fasting?
Yeah, so dry fasting is not actually not taking anything.
Yeah, I know when I'm dehydrated and I haven't drunk enough, my skin is worse, definitely.
Yeah, dry fasting is from a naturopathic perspective is a very it's a very effective way of healing the body. Okay. The problem is, if we are in a state of lack, should I say, then we will put our body into a bigger healing crisis. So dry fasting, from my perspective, is for somebody that doesn't have dry skin. You know,
so you, Rebecca, could do it.
I could do a dry fast,
and I would just be putting myself through a torture that's just not necessary right now.
Well, I know I've got some clients at the moment who have been asking me about this because Ramadan is coming up.
Yeah.
Obviously, dry fasting is what's going to be happening for a month.
They don't even drink water?
No, not during the day.
Okay.
So it's from my perspective, obviously the advice for Ramadan is, if you are healthy and you can do this, then you should be dry fasting. If for somebody who has got very dry skin, and there might be people watching this who you know, maybe this question is where it's come from, I would advise to not do a dry fast, because if you've already got dry skin, you are going to be putting yourself into much more of a crisis. I would say potentially you want to look at fasting, but maybe do a juice fast. So, you know, don't eat, but maybe do, you know, fresh fruit juice fasting, things like that, where you're actually juicing those fruits, because you're going to be getting the nutrients in, or vegetable juices.
So if you're dry fasting, you're eating food?
If you're dry fasting is literally
no food or water.
Nothing.
You can't even be having fruit. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that would be tough.
Yeah, but if you think about it, you naturally kind of put yourself on a dry fast when you get flu, right? You get flu. It's like, I don't want to eat. I don't want to drink. I just don't want anything. You know, animals will naturally put themselves on a dry fast when they're sick. So yeah, Shana, my partner, who has overcome eczema years ago, recently did a dry fast, and her eczema came back and is now getting out of control. Yeah, eczema, this could be what's happening if there's a healing crisis going on.
If you want to do it for religious reasons.
Yeah, but typically if you're doing a dry fast is a way of literally allowing your body to eliminate everything. And if your internal organs can't cope with that workload, the skin is going to have to get involved to do that detox. So for somebody, if you've done a dry fast and then eczema that had gone away has come back, it's because the body is trying to detox and it can't get everything out by the stool, by the urine, or by the sweat. So it's had to bring the skin back in to do that job, basically. Never see eczema as eczema is not a disease. Eczema is a symptom of an underlying issue. Yeah. So hopefully that answers the question, Charlie. But if I have advised clients to not do the dry fast, especially with the dry eczema types, for sure, basically.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's also interesting from another perspective that for religious reasons, people are doing stuff that could actually be helping their health as well as their mind.
Yeah, there's a reason why a lot of
they know what they're doing, don't they?
Yeah.
Obviously not for eczema though, maybe.
Yeah. The problem is we're so suppressed that these things are a little bit counterintuitive at this point in time. But get your body back to a good place, and dry fasting, oh my goodness, it like ramps up the healing. I'm not a big fan. For me, dry fasting is it's not something I've done. I still feel like I need to hydrate, and so I do fruit fast. Typically, I do fruit.
Yeah, fast. And that's hydrating you, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then would you drink water and herb teas as well when you were doing that? Yeah.
I've got my water. I've got my nettle tea.
Rooibos at the moment.
Yes. Yeah, rooibos is always a good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, anybody with dry skin, wherever that dry skin is there, it's just, throw that hydration and throw that nutrition in. And again, always looking at digestive system as well at the same time. If your digestion is not optimal. If you're seeing undigested food coming through the stool, then you've got to question, are you absorbing what you're actually eating? So actually going on a juice fast, going on a fruit fast could actually really help that digestion as well. So yeah, there's so many different angles to take.
Fascinating, isn't it?
But yeah, it's hopefully that answered the question for some people. Actually, that's probably quite a topical one as well. As Ramadan is coming up as well. So.
And everyone's getting eczema. I have got a good topic actually that we could talk about in another session as well. Somebody asked me about getting eczema for the first time in your later life and why that might happen. So why would you suddenly get it when you're in your 30s, 40s?
Just an overload. Your body's now had to bring in the skin to do some detoxing. It's actually really simple.
Yeah.
And actually they're the ones that are really simple to fix. Really simple.
Yeah. Would they fix in like a few weeks or months?
Yeah. I know, tell me about it, right? I'm like, man, I've been working on this for blinking years, and you swoop in, I give you a few tips, and it's like, oh, magic.
And also the eye stuff. So how quickly would your eyes picture change? So
it would take a while, so you'd be looking, I'd say at least 6 months before you might notice any changes. So it's a slow progress with changes in the eyes. And I do say to people, if you want to do another picture 6 months later, then we can kind of compare. I think my eye pictures I took about 2 years apart. So yeah,
you could see big differences in your different eye.
I could see differences, so I could see I certainly saw some changes in my digestive area, which is what I'd been working on, so that would make sense. Well, but it does take time to have those changes reflected in the eye, but it is quite amazing when you see like before and after pictures with eyes. It's just like, whoa. I never believe that eyes change. And
no, they just look like one colour. Sometimes maybe a bit of flecks in there, but when you zoom in, it's amazing how much detail you can get.
It is, yeah. But I mean, I'd always believe that, you know, your eye is your eyes, your eyes, that doesn't change. The structure doesn't take nothing, you know, nothing changes, because that's what we're told. And then you see, you have evidence, you're like, man, okay, it's I can see this is my eye, it has changed, but that is a lie, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, there's always stuff to learn. It's amazing. So yeah. Awesome. As ever, we could just keep going, right?
Oh, I know, we can't.
No, I shall love you and leave you for this Monday, and be kind to yourself, and you know, love your skin.
It's getting there so far. It is getting there. It's changing so much all the time. It feels really smooth now. Yeah. In places.
I know you're going through that like flare up and stuff, but actually just from a, you know, I see you every so often. It's looking.
It is
going. I can see improvements. Which
my scalp is like a bit flaky, but I would say now you might think I just had a bit of dandruff, whereas I used to have just massive. It was the same as topical steroid before. It was like big flakes that would come down the hair shaft, big ones.
Yeah. That's kind of something oddly therapeutic about taking.
Oh yeah, there isn't any now.
It's like, damn, I've got to pick off somewhere else.
Yeah.
What do we like?
Anyway, what are we talking about next week?
Oh man, hold on, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Let me check.
Put it in my
I nearly put it in my diary, but I haven't quite got around to that yet. So next week we are talking about changing the medical approach to eczema.
Yes.
Oh, that's a big one.
That's going to be a big one, isn't it? Yeah. So anybody, again, if you've got any questions, any comments on that topic about changing the way the medical world deals with eczema, you know, we just want to open that out. You know, how do we get this changed? How could we go about this? Because most people that are in this circle know how beneficial taking the natural approach is, and actually you have been harmed more often than not by the approach that has been taken. So how do we, for me, that's my mission, is to change the medical approach to this. So how do we even start that?
How do we
go
do
about
that? And that's a big subject in the topical steroid withdrawal
it?
meetups that we have. I missed the last one.
Yeah.
Because it was at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Because it's global and they're meeting with people all over the world.
Yeah.
It changes time so that at least sometimes for some people it's
Yeah. Makes
time.
sense.
But apparently there were more English people on it. They run it from 1 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the morning, some of them.
Yeah. Yeah, but to be fair, no, most of them have
they
got.
can't sleep.
Yeah, they can't
At
sleep.
the moment, for me, I've now got back into sleeping pattern. There's no way I could be up at 1 until 5.
No. Well, that's good. I'm pleased to hear it, Ruth. I'm pleased to hear that.
No way.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, it definitely. The sleep is much better, way better.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah,
Cool.
I could get lots of people onto that, hopefully.
Yeah, amazing. So yeah, I mean, it'd be great to have a discussion with people.
Yeah.
And you know how we can, what we can do basically. So that'd be awesome.
Not going to be easy.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
today. Thank you for you
Next
guys
week.
that joined us and asked questions. And I will see you guys. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.